Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about some of the signs that someone is in a trauma bond, but they may not recognize. Jewel, take us through that.
I'd say like one of them is defending the other person's emotions. Vile unaona, the reason mbona amefanya hivi, it's because of me. The reason why he's beating me, she's beating me, I'm the one who caused it. I need to do something.
Yeah.
Ndo ni change what I'm doing literally. Ndo ache kukasirika ama wache kukua in such a situation. Unaambiwa let's wait, unaleta a lot of confusion and everything, and you're feeling like, am I the problem? Am I not showing you enough love? Am I not caring for you more? Am I not sending you more money? What's happening?
Yeah.
And you find that's one of the signs utakuwa. And another one is defending their actions. Nile unapigwa and you're like, ananipiga juu ananikosoa. You know, the reason why ananipiga ananikosoa. And I feel this goes back to the child trauma that we had.
Yeah.
Because we find a lot of Africans who have this problem is because we were like our mothers, our fathers used to tell us, or our people who raised us, they are like, mimi natoa ujinga, si wewe na chapa ni makosa hiyo ndo na chapa. And when your spouse or someone else akikupiga, you are like, ni makosa, I did something wrong. And people are like, what do you mean? And you're like, I need to go, ask God for help, ndo niweze. And you're like, those are actually signs. So yeah, Lisa?
I think I'd also say fear of leaving, because how can you be beaten today, tomorrow, next week, the other week? Like, it's a constant pattern and yet you're not leaving. Make it make sense, you know? Because if I feel like I'm in a situation that is threatening me, whether my emotional state, because we talked about mental health and we said it's just a constant of being whole, having wellness, having well-being, just being whole, being well as a holistic person, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. So if I feel like there's something that's threatening my peace, threatening my safety, threatening my being whole, why am I still stuck there? So I feel like that is a very strong sign. And also this belief that love must involve pain. I mean, where did we get that? That ndo nipende, lazima nikapitie, one or another. So I feel like those signs, including the ones Jewel has said, are very key to show you that you are in a trauma bond.
Yeah. And I think I would also add on to that, like, just constantly being in that state of anxiety, because it's like you're constantly walking on eggshells. You don't know which side of the person you're going to meet today, so you have to be very careful. You have to think about all your actions before you do anything, because you're scared that you might just trigger something. And that's one of the many signs that are there.
Can I also add to that? I also feel another sign is isolation, where you even cut off your friends and your family, especially when they come and tell you that your partner is abusing you, there's something wrong, and now you find yourself cutting off your friends, your family. It could be because of embarrassment, or it could be because you're defending the other person. Another side is you always want to monitor where your partner is, who they are with. You want to check their phone, that you just want to look at whatever they are doing, because maybe you don't feel like they love you the way you expect them to love you. Maybe you have done something wrong and now you feel like, hey, what if Leo atenda cheat? And now you want to check their phones, you want to look, jana alikuwa wapi, tulikosana, and then he just stormed out. Now you just want to look, alienda wapi. So that wanting to just isolate and to hyper monitoring. I feel like those are also signs that you're in a trauma bonded relationship.
And I think to a certain extent we can compare trauma bonding with addiction. You become addicted to that person, you become addicted to that relationship. And as we've been talking, a lot of talk has come up about childhood experiences in connection to trauma bonding. So Kiki, could you please tell us, like, what role does childhood experience and also low self-esteem play in trauma bonds?
Well, I had talked about childhood experiences earlier, so I'm going to talk on low self-esteem.
Yes.
If you grew up where you're being criticized, people tell you mean things, you develop a low self-esteem. So when you get somebody who validates you, they take you out, they buy you flowers, whether these people abuse you, whether they beat you every day, you will stick there. You won't want to progress. And I also feel like people who have low self-esteem, they have fear of abandonment, especially when they feel safe around you. They feel like if this person leaves, no other person is going to tell me that I am beautiful. No other person is going to tell me that I have a nice body. No other person is going to tell me that I have, good-looking eyes.
Yeah.
So they would rather stay in that relationship than actually move out of that relationship. And I also feel like when you have low self-esteem, you always think that you don't deserve better. You get addicted to that pain. You see yourself and I'm like, anyway, I deserve it. Kwani, after all, I'm not all that, so I deserve this treatment. I deserve being beaten every day. And now it becomes an addiction. You don't want to move from that. So, yeah. I feel like self-esteem actually is the one that plays the bigger role in this trauma bonding, because I feel like if somebody who loves themselves, they'll look at some things that they'll be like, hell no. Somebody who grew up in a good family where they're shown love, where they're listened to, where their needs are fully met, if they go somewhere and all these things are not happening, they will be brave enough to walk away. But somebody who grew up even in a poor home, they find somebody who provides their needs, pays their school fees, they won't want to come out of that relationship. Unless now it becomes life-threatening again. But again, some of them bado wanataka tu kukaa, they test the waters.
Yeah.
Somebody amekuja amekwambia, wewe siku moja nitakuoa. And then you're like, no, hawezi nifanyia hivyo, Probably he was just angry, maybe when he comes, I'll prepare him a nice meal. He will then forget about it. For somebody to threaten you that they will kill you, it is something that they have already contemplated.
Yes.
So they're just telling you, smaller one day.
One day.
One day smaller.
You don't listen.
You don't listen.
Yeah, so when somebody threatens you, it's like they are already telling you what they had already thought about, and now they are telling you, if I get a chance one day, I will kill you. But of course, somebody with a low self-esteem, then they won't see that. Then they'll be like, okay, probably he was just angry. Probably he had a bad day at work. That's why he said that. Probably somebody else triggered him, and that's why he's lashing out. So I think I've touched a little on childhood, where the needs are provided for, emotional, physical, and even psychological needs. And I also feel like we have grown up in a society where our parents don't give us so much psychological needs. Like they don't focus on that. Yeah, as long as amelipa school fees, they are buying new clothes, amekulipia Wi-Fi, unamsumbulia nini? So when we even meet toxic friends, you want to stay there because you know that home, sipewi, home they don't listen to me, but your friend will listen to you. But the same friend is the one who will do something wrong, and then the next time they come, they pretend the way they are nice, They will maybe go and say bad things about you, and then when they, ukisikia hizo story unakuja, mimi nikasema, mimi siwezi kufanya kitu kama hiyo, me, It's because our parents have made us to even trust our friends more than them. Even when your parent akwambia rafiki yako ni mbaya, unamwangalia wewe unisikizangi. This one listens to me, but again your friend is not your friend. They are just maybe pretending. So I feel like also our parents have really contributed to people being stuck in those toxic relationships a lot.
That's nice.
Thank you so much for that answer. And now, as much as trauma bonding, it affects the people that are involved in that, immediate relationship, we can't deny the fact that it can also affect the friends and the family of the people that are involved in that relationship. So, Lisa, can you tell us a bit more on that? How does trauma bonding affect the person's family and friend relationships?
Yeah, wow, I think that trauma bonding with relationships, friends, and family, one thing it causes isolation. Someone mentioned that you will find the parents, okay, you'd find this, outside people will see the harm that your abuser, if I may call that person that, is seeing, but you yourself are not seeing.
Yeah.
So you get into this cycle of defending that person. And with time it gets a bit heavy, so you tend to just remove yourself completely. So it causes isolation. It also causes secrecy, because I remember Jewel mentioning, maybe I have this friend who maybe people do not like them. They see that person for who he really is, but me, I'm like, ni rafiki yangu tu. So and when we are together, I'd go away and call,
Yeah.
I'm not being open about it because I'm feeling like they do not trust me and they will not support me. It also causes mistrust, because what do you mean you're seeing the bad in the person that I like?
Yeah.
Yeah, because so who is the bad person? You guys, me, or that person?
Yeah.
It's like a triangle.
Yeah.
So I'm not trusting you because you're not trusting me because you're not trusting him.
Yeah.
So it causes this. I don't want to call it triangulation, but it causes this triangle where there is no trusting anyone.
Yeah.
Because even me, I wouldn't trust my partner if it's a friend. To tell them about the things for my family, because I don't know if they are conspiring against my family. So it causes a lot of mistrust. Yeah, that's right.
Now, Jewel, why would you say that trauma, like breaking a trauma bond, is often compared to breaking an addiction? Like, why is that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
As I had said in the beginning, like trauma bond is like an emotional addiction. Your brain is now used to this cycle of comfort and hurt. It now has become a pattern.
Yeah.
So like in this moment, the dopamine is high from all the good moments you've been
Yes.
having with this person, and that's where the brain only focuses with it. And when you check addiction from drugs, you know this drug is gonna hurt me, but you continue using it because it gives you a feeling, uko too high.
Yeah.
Like maisha uko nyumba ime, it's fire. Like you see the memes ya uko nyuma ime moto tu imewaka, bomb, and you're like life chilly.
Yeah.
That's how drugs give you, and that's how trauma bonding is. It's like an emotional addiction. Vitu zinaribika, but you're still there. You're just you're still there. And I feel this is why. And also when it comes to drug addiction, there's withdrawal syndrome.
Yes.
When it also comes to trauma bonding, there's also withdrawal syndromes, because the moment you try kujitoa kwa hiyo, become lonely, kwa zile za sasa hakuna mtu mwingine ananiweza at this point. You start becoming fearful, like sasa what next? You also become like self-esteem chini.
Yeah.
You're like sasa siwezi jiaminia at this point. Nia alikuwa support system yangu. Sasa what am I gonna do next? And these two, they become like it's one thing. And I feel a lot of people like concentrate more on the drug addiction part, and they forget also trauma bonding is also a great addiction that is really crazy.
Yeah.
And this is why we educate people on it, because we need to take care of yourself mentally. And I will always say this, our mental health is always linked to our physical health.
Yeah.
So if you don't take care of your mental health, you also get sick.
Yeah.
physically because of all this that is happening.
Also, to add on that, we are comparing trauma bonding and the normal addiction, right? And I'd say that these happy hormones, they are very addictive. And what you train your brain, like, this is where I get my dopamine. If it's taken away from you, the dopamine is not there anymore. If somebody, for instance, if for them to be happy is by taking alcohol, if they don't have alcohol, they are very gloomy. And so that's what happens in trauma bonding. People are also very addictive. When you are used to being with somebody, that chemical is released.
Yes.
And now when they are not there, now it becomes, the dopamine inaenda chini, and that's why you find them very depressed.
Yeah.
Because even that rewarding, it becomes a system. Your brain, akikuletea zawadi ka dopamine. Ukimwona ka dopamine. Hata kama alikuchapa ni ka dopamine. But now when they are taken away from you or when you separate from them, brain inashangaa. What's going on? We thought, okay, fine, now where would you look at after?
Yeah.
But tunataka pay your dopamine. If you want to smile, you go and look for that person. Yeah, so that's how it's related to addiction. Lisa, you had something?
No, I think you have
She has covered it all. Okay. So now let's say in that event that someone is able to get out of that trauma bond relationship. As much as, yes, they are out of that relationship, they're still going to want to explore other relationships. How do those former trauma bonds affect how this person is able to show up in the future relationships that they get into? And I want anybody who would like to answer that to go ahead.
I think I'd say one person becomes afraid of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because you see, this is a person you poured your all.
Yeah.
You gave your love, you gave your time, whether friendship, whether family, whether relationship, you are vulnerable. Because I don't think there's friendship without vulnerability. You have to just share something, because let's be real, friendships are like not transactional per se, but you give and take.
Yeah.
Because it gets draining if I'm constantly giving with nothing to receive. Yeah. So you fear being vulnerable because you gave your all and yet you got hurt in the process.
Yeah.
So what if I give my all again and then you still hurt me in the same way I was hurt before? And then also it creates room for mistrust.
Yeah.
Because if I trust you with maybe how I'm feeling, my emotions, if I trust you with who I am, will you hurt me? Will I be comfortable enough to say, no, you're only I'm trust, So I think, yeah.
I think I would add on to that and say that especially with like romantic relationships, and I think we see this a lot in movies where people are so passionately in love, they fight very passionately, then after that they make up, they start kissing, like it's so intense and it's so passionate. And I think sometimes people get used to that idea that that's what love is all about. It's about those passionate moments, those highs and those lows, that when you now get into a relationship that is actually healthy, you feel like this is boring, like why don't you fight with me, why don't you, and so sometimes it can take a lot to even be able to adjust to what a healthy relationship actually looks like. Now as we go towards the end, I want to ask, can someone heal from a trauma bond while still being in contact with that person who hurt them, and why or why not?
Very good question. And I would strongly say no. Get out.
Run,
Marisa, please.
No sugarcoating.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Get out. Because I feel you cannot heal. Huwezi kuwa unachomeka na moto and you're still there. Wishing, this is not the age ya kina sijui Shadrach na Meshach. Like, you need to get out.
Yeah.
you need to see the world outside how it is. You need to be free and see there's life after that.
Yeah.
You can live with this without this person. You know, I feel like you should get out. Hakuna mambo ni heal ukitoka.
You know, it's like when you want to recover from drugs, you don't recover while still using the drug. You know, you have to come out of that. However hard it may be, you have to come out. Change is very uncomfortable. And the only way you can know that you're actually growing is, you know, that discomfort. You know, probably you may miss them. Allow yourself to miss them. It's okay. You're human. You're going to miss them anyway. But again, remind yourself, you know, when I go back there, will I continue to persevere all these things? I can't change them. I'm not Jesus Christ. Even if I stay there, even if I pray for them, they're not going to change anyway. Probably them, they don't want to change. So you have to look at it like, okay, the only way I can heal is be away from them. But allow myself to go through those human feelings, you know, missing them, you know, wanting to contact them, you know, it may happen, and don't blame yourself for it. You should be at least kind to yourself. Don't be so mean. When you find yourself contacting him, I will never call him again. You don't go calling him, and then you spend time sulking, you know, crying, blaming yourself, telling yourself you're weak. And now when you start telling yourself you're weak, now your brain starts convincing you are not weak. You know what? You can actually go back. Go back. You know? So as much as, yes, we are saying utoke, give yourself some grace. Accept that you're a human being. Accept that, yes, I'm going to miss them. Yes, I may be tempted to contact them once in a while. And even if I do, don't blame yourself.
Thank you so much, ladies. And as we wrap up, I want to remind you that self-love can look like living sometimes. That is the best version of love that you can give yourself. And I hope that you've learned a thing or two about trauma bonding. That's it from us. And stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.
Bye.